Today's episode is brought to you by Positively Productive Systems, whose mission is to be the antidote to your stress and to provide compassionate productivity resources and coaching that help you heal and achieve. Be sure to check out both free and paid resources at positivelyproductive.com/resources. Regularly pausing to review what you're working on can help you determine if you're still on the right track or if you need to adjust your priorities. Quarterly reviews are a great example of this in business, but I highly recommend finding ways to approach this for not only your business, but your family life as well. It's not just about making the right decisions, it's about deciding on the right things. Pausing to reflect can prevent wasted effort and keep you aligned with your objectives. Alignment is one of the strongest productivity tools we have. You're listening to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zawrotny, founder of Positively Productive Systems and a productivity coach certified in positive psychology and stress management. Join me as we explore ways to live a more proactive, positive life with episodes on productivity, self-awareness, mindset, entrepreneur life, habits and systems, simplicity, fun, and more. I understand overwhelm personally as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, wife and mom to kids and cats, and as a caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Welcome to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and in today's episode, I'm sharing the power of the pause as an effective productivity and wellness tool. You'll learn the multitude of ways taking intentional breaks can boost your productivity and your wellness, and come away with ideas on how to incorporate this practice into your daily routine. In today's hustle-happy world, productivity too often looks like constant action, which too often results in being busy versus productive. There's a feeling that we can't stop, won't stop, and honestly, we don't dare stop, because if we do, we'll miss out or not make the cut. I know how easy that is to feel, but I want you to stop and question it, because in an ironic twist, this belief that we must constantly push can actually block us from the very thing we want. Adding insult to injury, that constant push not only doesn't help us be productive, it puts us on a path to burnout instead. That's why I speak out against hustle culture. I'm not anti-work or anti-achieving, quite the opposite, but I believe there's a better way to do it, which is what this entire podcast is about. And part of that better way includes pausing. Pausing for productivity means deliberately stepping away from your work, your effort, your routine. The word suggests that it's temporary and likely for a short period, but that length of time can vary. The point of pausing is to give your mind the space it needs to process, rejuvenate, and/or reset. Pausing allows you to come back energized, receive information differently, and troubleshoot more effectively. There are so many benefits to pausing. When you disengage from your tasks to rest, recharge, refocus, review, that's a lot of ours, make decisions, you change how you show up when you return. 4 significant ways that you show up differently when you practice pausing include improved focus. Pausing helps sustain your attention span over longer periods. It's like hitting the reset button for your mind, combating decision fatigue, which is a very real thing that you have probably experienced if you've been in the cereal aisle of a supermarket. And it allows you to return to tasks with renewed attention. Another benefit is enhanced problem solving. Stepping away from a problem provides your brain with the space it needs to unconsciously process information. I'm sure you've experienced this many times before, where you feel stuck and you're frustrated and you walk away, and when you return, the solution has come to you. This is also probably why I solve all the world's problems while in the shower or driving my car. It's in the quiet when the answers come. Another benefit is higher quality output. Regular breaks prevent rushed, subpar work that are often riddled with mistakes, which also means that you have to do the work over again. Very much unproductive. So, conversely, when you take the time to pause, you keep the quality of your work higher, especially when you factor in other elements like enhanced problem solving. The fourth benefit I want to share with you today is reduced stress. And this is one of my favorites. Pausing triggers the relaxation response, reducing the production of stress hormones. This not only contributes to better mental health, but also prevents the negative impact of chronic stress on productivity. And you decide things better when you aren't stressed. Think about when someone pressures you to make a decision and you're all revved up. You're not going to make the same quality decision when you're feeling that tension than you are when you're calm. That's why when you take a deep breath and you reflect on something, you come up with a better solution. Now, one quick side note I want to make, it's like a caveat about stress, is that we actually need some stress to be productive. I don't want to confuse the situation here, but this is an important tip. The Yerkes-Dodson law indicates that you reach your peak level of performance with an intermediate level of stress. And this law is a U-shaped graph, so an inverted U-shape. That means that either extreme won't work. So no or low stress actually won't help you be productive, nor will chronic stress. So when we think of pausing, we're focused mainly on the reduction of chronic stress, which is unfortunately quite common. We know that we show up differently when our brains are fresh and not distracted, but how about a little science to back this up? Scientifically speaking, our brains work in cycles of focus and rest, or they need to, even if we don't want it that way. We have limits, especially mentally. Continuous mental work without breaks results in cognitive fatigue, which diminishes our ability to concentrate, solve problems, and generate creative ideas. The only thing continuous work will boost is the potential for mistakes, which is decidedly unproductive. Taking breaks allows your brain to recover and recharge and enables something called the default mode network to activate. The default mode network is a function of the brain where it's awake but not engaged in the outside world, which might sound familiar. I know it does to me. It's actually called wakeful rest. And you experience it when you're daydreaming or your mind is wandering. While it's common to pass this off as wasted time, it's actually necessary. This function is linked to creativity and introspection and is the time in which we can process and acknowledge what we're doing. It's linked to long-term memory and having a sense of self. The key idea here is that you can't consume information constantly without taking some time to integrate it. As with everything in life, this is a balancing act of engaging for well-being and purpose and disengaging to prevent constant rumination. And our biggest productivity issue, I'm sure the reason you're here, which is not getting your ish done. There are a variety of ways that you can incorporate pauses, breaks into your routine. Let's dig into some ideas. You can do a flow state sprint with breaks, like the Pomodoro technique, which I'm sure you've heard of. It's a great example of this approach. It involves working for 25 minutes, what is called a Pomodoro, followed by a 5-minute break. By the way, did you know that the Pomodoro technique was named after Pomodoro, meaning in Italian tomato, the tomato timer from the kitchen timers? Have you seen that? That's why they call it that. So yeah, 25 minutes followed by a 5-minute break. After completing 4 of those Pomodoros, you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. These short breaks prevent burnout, maintain your focus, and enhance overall productivity. It gives you a chance, like a short enough opportunity to stay focused without distractions, but then step away. You need both sides of that to work your best. Another way that you can incorporate pausing into your routine is through physical movement breaks. Sedentary work can lead to decreased energy and focus. So here's what you do. You set a timer to stand up, to stretch, to take a short walk. My Apple Watch helps me do this. I have it set to remind me to stand, and I'm able to go do stretches and take care of other things. It's a great time to anchor that habit to drinking some water. So you can do a bunch of these things at the same time. Now, the physical movement is important because it increases blood flow, delivering oxygen and nutrients to your brain, which can revitalize your mental clarity. And there are studies that show that taking these breaks and making them physical, like taking a walk specifically, boosts creative thinking, all the things that we want. Another way to incorporate pausing into your day is mindfulness and meditation. Pausing for a quick meditation or a mindfulness practice, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, can have a profound impact on your productivity. It reduces stress, improves attention span, and helps you be present and aware, which can help you make decisions. This practice is connected to and can look like a gratitude practice, which can include celebration and savoring. Pausing to appreciate not only the world around you, but the world within you is incredibly healing. And I truly believe that the more we're healed and the better we feel, the better we show up, the more productive we'll be. Another way you can incorporate pausing into your daily routine is through something called visual distancing. That's when we're working on a project, we make an intentional effort to step away and look at it from a distance, literally and figuratively. It provides us with a fresh perspective. This pause allows you to spot errors and make improvements and approach challenges with renewed insight. When we slow down, we can see things differently. We need a way to step back, get some distance, get some perspective, slow down, and then we're able to catch stuff. Also, on a physical side, this habit is good for your eye muscles as well because they can be susceptible to strain, especially since we spend so much time on screens. Another way we can add in a pause to our day is through creative pauses. Engage in activities that you enjoy during breaks. This is hobbies and fun stuff and things that feel, I think, traditionally like they're, quote, not productive. Actually, they really are. So listen to music, doodle, read a few pages of that really good novel that you can't put down. Or is that just me? Yeah. Sometimes to be careful with that one. I have to set a timer for sure so that I go back to the real world. Or simply daydream if you want. That goes back to what I mentioned with the science of the brain. Take a little time to do that. Daydreaming to me is like a nap for your brain. These activities activate different parts of your brain, fostering creativity, and they prevent mental stagnation. The last one I want to suggest is alignment review. And what I mean by that is it's time to reflect, which I think is much needed, but so easily disregarded. It's something I mention so much, creating buffer time, creating space in your schedule to think about where you're going, what you're doing, what you've done. Regularly pausing to review what you're working on can help you determine if you're still on the right track or if you need to adjust your priorities. Quarterly reviews are a great example of this in business, but I highly recommend finding ways to approach this for not only your business, but your family life as well. It's not just about making the right decisions. It's about deciding on the right things. Pausing to reflect can prevent wasted effort and keep you aligned with your objectives. Alignment is one of the strongest productivity tools we have. So, of all these, which one of these jumps out to you that you want to incorporate? In order to practice pausing, remember that you need to pay close attention to your routine and build habits that support you around this. Now, here's where you can leverage technology and your environment to help. Alarms are an effective tool if you are timing yourself during a work sprint, or like I said, with my Apple Watch, I have it timed to remind me to stand and to stretch, walk away from my desk. You can also schedule regular intervals in your calendar, just as you would work meetings. And I like that approach, especially because by scheduling it in the calendar, you are indicating to yourself that these breaks are just as important as your other meetings. This is also a good opportunity to declutter and to set up your space to make it conducive to the habit and the tools to do it. Remember that when you're building a habit, you need to make it as easy as possible to do the thing that you want to do, to encourage that. If you want to make the habit of taking a break and standing from your desk and drinking water, then have your water placed away from your desk, ready to go. Whatever you can do to make it easy as possible is the key, because eventually the habit will take over. But to begin, you need to have simple steps in place. Pausing. This is yet another example of a concept so simple, yet so effective. And don't you just love that? By giving your mind the opportunity to recharge and review, you're not only priming your productivity, you're safeguarding your mental health. The next time you find yourself caught in a whirlwind of work, catch yourself. Take a breath and pause. Even that little pause will make a difference. It's the very thing you need in that moment to be your most productive. Today, we've talked about a number of connected topics to pausing, including stress, creativity, celebration, mindfulness, habits. Corresponding episodes to these topics are included in the show notes if you want to explore those further. And one final word of caution, if you will, I also want it to be encouragement. If you want to build a space in your schedule to incorporate this technique, but you find yourself feeling like there just isn't enough time to create that space, when would you possibly pause? That is a sign that you need to seek some support here. Sometimes an outside perspective can help you make the shifts faster and easier than you thought possible. In one strategy session, we could rework your routine into a harmonious combination of sprints and pauses. Let's talk. I encourage you to share your thoughts and questions and connect with me by going to the Connect page on my website, positivelyproductive.com/connect. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious and limited, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. If you have feedback, questions, or want to schedule a chat, head to positivelyproductive.com/connect. And if you are looking for any of the resources referenced on the podcast, from books to products to training and more, go to positivelyproductive.com/resources.